Welcome back to another recording of the Elevate Media Podcast. I'm Chris Anderson, your host, and today we're going to dive into the topic of mindfulness and how we can get better control of our minds, our thoughts, and really slow things down so we can speed things up in our business. So excited to have a guest on the show talking just about that. He's actually a collegiate athlete, which I know a lot of you listening have played sports at the college level. So this can be right up your alley to be able to connect with Walker Ferguson. Welcome to the Elevate Media Podcast today, man.
I appreciate you having me on. Excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were talking a little bit in the green room. Walker, plays football for Wake Forest. Man, what is that like? Let's start there too, because mindset, mindfulness, from an athlete's perspective, is important.
Yeah,
I almost did a double major with sports psychology in college,
yeah,
and so like this, it's always really intrigued me. So yeah, what is that like playing at that level?
yeah. It's definitely gets some adjustments early on. Coming in as a freshman, you're like a shark in the deep water. You have no idea what's going on. And you're trying to like navigating things, like figuring things out. You got to wake up every day at 5:30. You got to be on a
Yep.
roller. You're eating your breakfast at a certain time, your lunch at a certain time, practice at a certain time, tutors, classes. It's a lot at first, but you know, being mindful and developing your emotional intelligence as well as your resiliency really
Yeah.
allows you to, get through some of those tough times. For me,
Mm.
freshman year was really tough because, I'm coming in from high school, your ego's through the roof. Like you're one of the best players in high school. And then you get to college and you're like the worst player on the team, you're scout team, like fifth string. And, it's very, very humbling at first, but
Sure.
college football at that level, especially, teaches you so much just to get to where you want to be. And like even in the entrepreneur route,
Yeah.
it really teaches you discipline and consistency. And those are like the two kind of words that I live my life by,
Yeah.
doing the right things and then showing up every day and doing them again and again to get to where I want to be. And, without football and being like kind of forced into that,
Yep.
I think that definitely like expedited the route for me, like it's like very quickly because I was like had to do those things. I didn't really have a choice or else I was cut. So,
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, how long have you been so you athlete all through high school, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
growing up. Have you
Yeah.
always been into like the mindfulness? Did you probably didn't know necessarily what it was, but okay.
Not at all.
No.
So yeah, growing up, I was like, I just played everything with the ball, like baseball,
Yeah.
football, I was like literally anything. And lacrosse was actually my first love. And,
Oh, awesome.
COVID kind of took that away from me. I didn't
Mm.
really got any schools I really wanted to play it when COVID hit because roster spots went from like 12 to 4. So kind of
Yeah.
shifted my focus towards football.
Yeah.
Um, but like, luckily that worked out. My junior year was good enough. But yeah, no, that's didn't really know what mindfulness was. I think or I know that I either lived like in the future, which is as we know anxiety, or the depression, which
Yep.
is past, right? I
Yep.
never was really in this like present moment. I wasn't really like mindful or like just I didn't really I wasn't really like truly like happy or wasn't like falling in love with what I was doing. And when I got to Wake, like I said, my freshman year, I get to my sophomore year and I'm not playing again. I'm going scout team, not traveling. I could was like the farthest thing from playing. I was
Mm.
just going through a tough time. I was doing a lot of things that I necessarily shouldn't have been doing. Class wasn't going great, relationships, home life, and you know I was really in that that past that depression or that future anxiety. And I didn't know what mindfulness was, and I'm a Christian guy, so I started
Yeah.
reading scripture, like meditating on scripture. And my buddy Hampton, who I actually started the company with, he got really big into mindfulness, learning about like Marcus Aurelius and like different ways to meditate and like
Yep.
what mindfulness is like just being in the present moment and just being grateful for all your many blessings and just like enjoying life to the fullest. So once I kind of took a step back, my sophomore year, understood, how grateful I am for like life. And like I'm like, I was like, dang, I'm really like playing football like Wake Forest right now, like ACC football, like
Yep.
top university. Like I have so much to be grateful for. And once I kind of just didn't take my blessings for granted, like a lot and just like appreciated everything, learned how to breathe, learned how to like
Mm.
de-stress and like really focus in on the present moment. Like my life like just took off. Like it was like like a flipping a switch, like something I'd never
Yeah.
seen. And after that, I was like, I gotta meditate every day, just become more
Yeah.
mindful.
What does that look like for you? What does your meditation look like? I know because it's different for
Yeah.
everybody.
No, for sure. So when I wake up every morning, I write down two things I'm grateful for in my gratitude journal. So I started that early on because I wanted to develop, a sense of gratitude early on.
Mm.
From there, I read New Morning Mercies, which is like a daily devotional for me to get
Oh,
my day
cool.
going. And then I
Nice.
got like a little like daily devotional prayer thing to start out the day in the morning. And then after that, I'll go hit the gym because like I love taking care. Everything else takes care of itself. You take care of your physical, your spiritual, your mental, emotional,
Yep.
all that good stuff. So I like to lift in. And then after I lift, I'll go to class or do whatever. But then I'll actually use the app. and I'll like plug in my own meditation, and I'll get a meditation through that that's personalized, customized for me. And then throughout the day, I'm just trying to I like try to read books whenever I can, and I
Yeah.
close the day with like just sitting in complete silence, like 30 minutes before I go to bed, say a
That's
prayer,
awesome.
and lights out.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
it's crazy what our routines and like what our actions, how they play such a big role. And if we're not taking care of ourselves in all those aspects, spiritual, emotional, physical,
yeah,
like and how we structure our day too. Cause like you said, you end your day in silence, reading and then in silence, prayer. Where a lot of people, and I've fallen into this boat, and I'm sure you have at one point or another, we pick up our little devices and we got the we're
yeah,
filling our minds with that like dopamine hits at the end of the day or whatever it might be. Uh and it affects our sleep, which then if we wake up more tired, we may not get up early to work out or meditate because we're running late. Then we're reactive the whole time instead of being able to be choose what we're doing when we wake up. We're kind of on emergency mode. So I think that's a crucial thing. Why do you think people struggle so much to get behind meditation or mindfulness?
yeah. I think it's more of like a misconception of like what the word means. I think
Yeah.
there's like all these different like forms and ways that people are like, oh, this is what meditation means. It's like Buddhist, it's this,
Yeah.
this, this, But at the end of the day, like meditation, mindfulness is just being present. It's just being
Yeah.
happy. It's being in the present moment and just loving life.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of my missions in life is kind of like change that like misconception of meditation being this like bad thing per se, or let's like not
Sure.
like I don't want to use the word bad, but there's this misconception around meditation. Realize that that's like the word, but at the end of the day,
Hmm.
it's living your healthiest, happy life to the best of your ability. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's just a lot of misconception there that needs to be changed.
For sure. I think that's true. And I'm a believer as well, man of faith, Christ follower. And growing up, if I were to hear the word meditation, I'd be like, oh, I'm thinking of like you said, Buddhists or like things like that, of like things that went against what I, believed.
100%.
And so I was like, I kind of just wanted to stay away from it. And then when I really kind of like you started to dig into it, what does this mean? Like I believe in the Bible, and I might be wrong because I'm not
Yeah,
a preacher and things, but I
yeah,
think
yeah.
it says meditate on this day and night, talking
It
about his
does.
word.
It's
And
correct.
so,
Yep.
um,
Jesus was the
I
biggest
think,
meditator.
yeah.
Yeah,
And so like being able to like actually understand what the word means
yeah,
and then putting that into your life with
100%.
what, fits your beliefs in your system, I think is huge. And then once I started to realize that, it's like, okay, yeah, like this is doable. I should be meditating. I should be
Yeah,
meditating on scripture or, in my conversations with him,
yeah,
meaning God and stuff. Um, but I think what you said, one thing you said too, that is such a critical piece. I think working out above a lot of the things is the gratitude piece.
for sure.
Um, why do you think that is?
I just think gratitude is so essential because you really got to take a step back. I mean,
Yeah.
there's people like in third world countries that don't have running water, don't have lights to flip on, they don't know where their next meal is coming from. We're so blessed like here in America, like we don't have to worry about those things.
Right.
Sitting in a room right now, we're on technology like, talking. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like I'm in Cary, North Carolina, but
Yeah.
being able to like appreciate what you have, allows more blessings to come into your life and also allows you to help other
Mm,
people and bless their lives as well. So I'm
yeah.
big into gratitude and humility because that's something that I definitely struggled with early on,
Yep.
and that kind of shaped my personal values and the way I want to live my life. So yeah, big
I
gratitude
think
is the best attitude for sure.
yeah, I love that, and I think it's very spot on because like if we're more focused internally, if we're more selfish, focused on us and what we need to do or what we want to accomplish, like we forget the gratitude part. Like,
True.
I'm building a business and, it's so easy to be like, oh, I see them over there. Like, I got to get to that level where, I want to make that much money or all this stuff. And you forget about, where you've come and
Process.
having those moments of like retrospective, like, yeah, that's great. Like, those are goals. Awesome.
Yeah.
But look where you came from and look what we've gotten through and look who you've been able to help and having that mindset of gratitude. I think in business, in life, it just changes your perspective because if you, even in a hard time, right? Like
Yeah.
if football's not going well for you, if business is not going well, like you can look at yourself and still be like, but this is where I'm at. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still walking around on 2 feet. I'm out here on the football field. I have a business that's still running. Like I can, do a little, even though it's not where we want to be, it's still, being grateful where we're
Blessing.
at compared to
So,
where,
yeah.
yeah, where other people are.
That's really well said, for sure. Love that.
And I think it's crazy too. Like when you go, if you've ever been, or, have you ever watched like people in third world countries, like they're just super joyful. Like,
Yeah.
they're super happy because it's like, I feel like they're grateful for what they have and they just like are mindful of
Right.
the day, right?
For real. Yeah. Hit it on the nail.
So like how does someone get started into mindfulness if, they're like, okay, let me kind of give this a shot. Maybe, you know, maybe Walker's right. Um, where can I start as far as, getting into mindfulness and understanding it?
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good question. And I think it's different for everybody. I think it's a lot different. A lot has to go with your beliefs,
Yeah,
what you believe in. For me, I'm obviously going to try to promote the app and just say, hop
sure.
on a site and to create a customized meditation
Yeah.
unique to you. But no, I would say, just take a step back and just, I would recommend start journaling.
Mm,
Journaling is a great form of meditation at the end of the day and just write down, how your day went, like what you're grateful for, kind of what you wish you could have done better and how you want to like, progress like over the next week and being
yeah.
able to write your thoughts down and like really like tap into your thoughts and your emotions and how you're feeling. That will kind of like, I think that will really spiral you. That really helped me out early on.
That's cool.
And then also for me, like, I'm always going to promote the Bible, read the
Yeah.
word, start in
Hmm.
John and go to Luke, then Acts,
There you go.
read
Yeah.
that, meditate on that scripture, and that'll bring you out of that as well. And then also too, like, look on a different note too, like learning how to like breathe, like box breathing is
Mm,
great.
yeah.
Learning how to really like take a moment and like just be present and just like, not really focus on your breath. Like, our minds, as soon as we start to breathe, we start thinking about like other things. It's like, what's going
Yeah.
on here? What's going on here? Like really
Yeah.
try to focus in on your breath, and then as soon as it starts going away, like really bring it back to your breath, and then just kind of go like keep going, just keep going for like 15-20 minutes, and then see where it takes you, and it's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah. For those who
you'll
might not know, what is that box breathing?
yeah. So for me, I go in for 7 seconds, and
Mhm.
then I hold, and then I take one more breath, and then I
Okay.
exhale for 4, and then I
Okay.
repeat. But box breathing is like you breathe in, you hold, and then you take one more breath. Literally
Okay.
exhaust your lungs, then let it out to get
Okay.
like oxygen through your body.
So 7 in for you. Do you hold a specific time?
I
I think
hold it. I hold until like I'm kind of like giving out. I'm sorry, like
okay.
want to breathe, and then I give one more breath, and then I just
Okay.
slowly let it all out. Yeah,
Cool.
and
And
it's
slow out, right, is important, not a
yeah,
fast
very
out.
slow. Yeah, you don't want
Yeah.
to go like you want to
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
4 seconds you said, right?
yeah, I do. That's what I do,
Cool.
but for everyone it
Yeah.
might be different. So
Yeah,
yeah,
sure. Okay. Well, good. I like that because yeah, and I think, you know, what so I feel like and I would because I was in this position when I first was into it, like,
yeah,
man, this is some woo-woo stuff, Walker, what are
yeah,
you talking like this is all some interesting things. How do we walk through those kind of limiting beliefs on things? How do we expand? I guess it would be expanding our mindset of like what's actually out there to help us. How can we take those steps if we're in those positions?
yeah. Are you talking about like resources to help you meditate, or like what?
No, if someone's like, "Man, I just don't know," like,
Yeah,
just seems far-fetched.
yeah,
I
yeah.
could
No, for sure.
me, I know now, but I was in that position, I'm
Yeah,
like, "I don't know, this can it really help?"
no, for sure. I mean, that's a good question. I think a lot of people struggle with that. I think that does come down to like just taking like a leap of faith. Really giving it a true,
Yeah,
honest chance.
yeah,
Because as I was having this conversation, like you can tell somebody to do something. You can tell somebody, you want to make more money, start that business. You want to do this, do that.
yeah,
But like unless you actually do those things, you actually apply yourself and try. Like you're never gonna
yeah,
know. So I
yeah,
would just recommend everyone to give it a try. Like take a leap of faith,
yeah.
give it like an honest try. See where it goes. And if it doesn't work out, which it will, I know it will.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's on
It's
me.
good, and, like, if they come with that, from a direction, obviously, we're both, Christians,
For sure.
so, I mean, a lot of these people listening all individuals listening are in the same category, so, like, if you can tie it, to our faith, to our,
Yeah.
the Bible and things like that, and really make it part of that day, but it's such an important thing because stress, disease,
Yeah.
dis-ease,
Yeah.
being not at ease. And so like that stress, that's one of the biggest causes of, I think, issues in our body is just
For sure.
the stress of holding stuff in, tightening your muscles and and not letting it go. Again, like you mentioned earlier, thinking too much in the future or too much in
Yep.
the past
Yep.
causes all those issues. So I think
Yeah.
this is mindfulness, being in the now and present. You're not going to be perfect at it.
For sure.
You're gonna
It
you
is.
have to snap back into it, but you can shorten those moments of getting on either spectrum.
Well, you just brought
Um,
up a really good point too
yeah.
about, a lot of things, like you said, like your muscles tightening up, like you feel sick, like you're sick in your mind, but you're not actually
Hmm.
sick. That's
Yeah.
that's really big, and that's something
Yep.
that I've experienced a lot for myself. Whether I have like a cold or something else going on with my body. If I'm telling my body, I'm happy, I'm healthy, like I'm
Yep.
able, like I'm naturally like feeling better, and that's just like it's
Hmm.
all in the mind because as we know, everything starts in the mind. So that's another
Yep.
thing too. If you're not a Christian and you're not like you're an atheist or somebody else, and you want to like learn to meditate, take that leap of faith because if there's something going on in your life, like for me, like the personal struggles I went through, or like you're sick or something else,
Yep.
and just because negative energy travels,
Yeah.
create that positivity in the mind and see what happens. Tell your mind
Yep.
you're happy, you're healthy, and get to go from there. That's a big point. So I'm glad you brought that
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it is crazy. Like, there's so much. Like, we could dive into so much with this of like how energies, not created nor destroyed. And so, like, what energy are you focusing on?
Yeah.
If you know Bob Proctor at all, he talked about vibrations and
Yep.
different being on different levels and things like that. Which I think God could do a lot of really cool things. So I'm sure there's things outside of what I understand within like energy and vibration and things that He created. And I was like, yeah, like this just makes sense.
Yeah.
That we just can't comprehend.
For sure.
Um, and how the body is. I mean, we think about the brain and how much we don't even know about that yet. Still,
It's crazy.
um, and yeah, and I go back to the Bible too because you think obviously we're not Jesus, of course, but the woman who needed help, she just touched his robe and she had the belief and she knew it, like, and so she was healed. And like obviously that's his power, but like that kind of thing is like the mindset, the thought process of growing and focusing on the good, you
Yeah.
know. Like again, we talked about third world countries and they're super joyous and happy and they're living in what they're living in, and to them they're just happy to be
Yeah.
alive. And where we're super wealthy compared to that, and we see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be terrible because we're so blessed and have so many amenities here, um that like our mindset, it'd be hard to be in that situation and be joyous. A lot of time we'd really have to work on it.
It's well said. Yeah. It's
So
great.
where do you see the future of mindfulness and meditation going? Do you see it continue to grow? Do you can see it kind of
Yeah.
being leveled off, or
Yeah, so I actually, I foresee it continuing to grow for sure. I
yeah,
think, apps like Headspace, apps like
yeah,
Calm,
hmm,
like the 10 coming out, like
yeah,
having resources to create like meditations, for you, like on the move, like wherever you are. I think that's a big step for the younger generation, for the Gen
yeah,
Zs, for like people like myself.
yeah.
Like you said, a lot of younger people have no idea what meditation is. They're like, oh, that's old people stuff with some Buddhist things.
Right.
Right? Seriously though,
Yeah,
but like having like resources like that and having, athletes, especially like, JJ
mm,
McCarthy, quarterback at Michigan, won the national
yeah,
championship, plays for the Vikings now. He meditates before every game. And like
yeah,
that public image, it's like, wow, like JJ McCarthy's present, like he's
yeah,
balling, like, and he's just got drafted to the NFL. Like if he's doing that, like maybe I should try it because it's working for
right,
him. And
right,
I foresee that continuing as more younger people continue to meditate. That's just going to kind of spiral it along, keep going. Because even
yeah,
with my team too, even like trying out the app and like learning to meditate too, like on the Wake Forest football team, we weren't great this year, but we were like so much more like connected and like happy. Like we were enjoying it. Like I can honestly
yeah,
say that like, we never had a day that we showed up and didn't go to work. Like even when we were 4-8, every single
yep,
day we went to work, and that's a blessing in itself because it's like it's
yep,
hard to show up when you're not winning,
yeah,
and that just brings the team so much closer. But I definitely see it growing for the younger
yeah.
generation, passing that on.
I agree, and I like you said, if people who are in positions of, that people watch and look at up to and want to follow after are starting to talk about it and show like, hey, I'm doing this. Um, I think it's going to get more attention and growth, and it'll be interesting too. Because so let's dive into this a little bit because it has to do with your app a little more. Is AI? We're
Yeah,
seeing the AI boom in everything, which is crazy. Um, and to think in 5 to 10 years where we'll be with AI and robotics is,
It's crazy.
scary and crazy and fascinating. But yeah, how's AI tie into, mindfulness now and meditation? I know you guys lean on it with your app. How's
Yeah.
it make it better? Maybe, or how are some things we have to watch out for?
No, that's a really good question. Um, so I love AI. I think,
Yeah.
it's great. I think it can make your productivity hit skyrocket.
Yeah.
And I think it's about using AI the right way. So
Mhm.
to go back a little bit, me and my partner Hampton, we went through like a tough time. Mindfulness meditation brought us out of that. For me, it was through like the Christianity perspective and
Mhm.
learning to meditate on scripture. For him, it was learning about like Marcus Aurelius and
Mhm.
that type of those
Yep.
other different
Stoics
types
and
of
stuff. Yep.
yeah, Stoics. Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So long story short, we both used apps like Headspace and Calm, and they
Yep.
gave base meditations, base sleep stories, but nothing felt individual for the user. Hampton calls me in January of 2023, and he's like, "Dude, we need to use artificial intelligence the right way and use it to create personalized meditations, sleep stories, and what we call like meditation plans, uniquely for individual users for what they're going through." And I was like all in on it. So I was like, you know what? There's a lot of misconceptions around AI right now, but we can use AI the right way to help people become more mindful and live happier, healthy lives. So
Yeah.
essentially, like what the app does to help you meditate is you just give it a query. I could literally talk like I'm about to go on the Elevate Media Group podcast. A little nervous right now. Please give me a meditation to help me calm down. 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever the length is. Select a voice in the background. It will generate that meditation for me on the spot and allow me to like basically become more present right before the interview,
That's
um,
awesome.
or before the podcast. And it's like with anything. And
Yeah.
and if you can't think of anything on the moment, there's suggestions, right? So like the AI, you take a personalization quiz at the start where it just gives you some base of it, like info, like name, age, and then it's just kind of like what's your meditation experience? What are your goals for the app, right? Is it like become
Yeah.
more mindful? Is it like achieve a goal, de-stress? And then from there, we'll give you like suggestions in the apps if you don't have one, right? So that's like using AI the right way. So I think there's a lot of ways that a lot of misconceptions around AI, and
Sure.
it definitely could be going the wrong. Like so it could be used for the wrong way, but it also could be
Yeah.
used the right way. It's
Yep.
all about how you use it. And at Ascend, we want to use AI the right way. It was never about making $1 million. It's
Yeah.
about making a billion people's lives better, right?
Yeah.
And meditation is a big piece of that. Whether that's through the meditation plans and seeing yourself achieve a goal, or through like just a meditation to de-stress, or like a sleep story. The sleep stories are
Mm.
great too. But
Yeah.
that's just so great. And AI is really that's the game changer is the personalization fact. Allows it to create something custom for you for whatever you're going through. So to answer your question, I think I think it's just going to continue to grow. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think if it's in the right hands, it will grow the right way and help a lot of
Yeah.
people
I agree. Just like anything, has dual purpose depending on the user.
for
So,
sure. No doubt.
and I like that. I like that it's personalized. That's really cool. I've used Headspace. I've used Calm.
Yeah.
And kind of what you're saying, like I was like, okay, it's the same thing, kind of over and over.
Yep.
And so that personalization part, like I'm excited to test it out and see how it goes. You mentioned on there, and this is on some of the others too, but the sleep stories.
Yeah.
Dive into what those are and how that benefits people, because some people might just not know that, especially if they don't know meditation at all. So, what are
Yeah.
these sleep stories used for?
Yeah, so for me personally, like I sometimes have trouble falling asleep before I learn to meditate. So this would have been crucial for me, but like even my sisters, like one of them has like suffers from like insomnia, so they help her. But
Mm,
essentially, the sleep stories they use AI right to create your own
yep,
personalized bedtime story. So it's the same process. You just create story. You give it like a genre, a theme, a setting, and then you can make yourself like the character of the story. So I could be like Chris and Walker are at a beach. We're gonna go surfing or something, right? Like, give me
nice.
a
Yeah,
bedtime story, right? And then we do, the same process. You select the length, then you select a background, and then a voice, and it will create that bedtime story for you on the spot. So it's your own personalized like bedtime story to help you fall asleep. Whether that's you want to bang out a quick nap or you want to fall asleep at night.
yeah,
From there, like the background music, the track will play for like an hour, just like kind of some white noise, wherever you
right,
pick, just to help you go to sleep. But for the story, it's essentially just to help you go to sleep and get better sleep at the end of the day.
yeah.
It's same thing, personalized, customizable.
That's cool. That's really neat. Yeah, and those things are great. Like I've used them to I was doing for a good I don't remember how long I was doing it in a row and just it was like just part of the routine. I just
Yeah,
start it and I think and I was getting like 5 minutes in and I was already out. Or
yeah,
some quick, like some really quick and I was already out before and so it's like it really does kind of help because it kind of because of how it speaks and how it comes out and the tones and
sure.
the cadence, it
Yep,
just kind of like calms everything.
Yeah.
and slows things down. And so obviously you don't want to be doing this while you're scrolling Facebook and things like that though too. So you still have to take other action that
Yeah.
makes it work. Um, but yeah, I mean, those are great tools and things to be able to incorporate into things. Do you I'm curious, and this might not be part of it. Um, are there any like ways to use it to like a guided journaling where you type in
Yeah.
something and like
So that's actually a feature we're working on, but,
nice.
the meditation plans,
Uh-huh.
what I was kinda hit on earlier,
Yeah,
in a way, it's similar right now. We're trying to refine it, but
sure.
essentially, what the meditation plan is, you put in a specific goal, right? So I could put in the app, I want to be a starting safety on the Wake Forest football team by my senior year. I'm going to do X, X, and X to achieve that goal, right? And then under a
Mhm,
subcategory, there's different categories for it. It's like, relationships, mental health, achievement, right? I would put achievement for that
mhm,
one. And I hit create plan. It will create a meditation plan for me, either a 12 phase plan or a 20 phase plan to see myself achieving this goal. And based on the information I'm giving it, and obviously, the more detailed you make it, the more detailed your plan is going to be. But the AI will like use the information to create a plan and allow you to visualize your success. And that's what we found really big for athletes, like myself and like the guys on my team,
mhm.
guys at other schools. Is like, as your wife knows, to play volleyball, like everything
Yeah,
starts in the mind. You want to see
yeah,
yourself making that play and then translate that into reality. So
yeah.
being able to have that plan and break up in distinct phases. So like phase one, you know, practice like visualization, like see myself doing that, and then it goes to the next one and the next one and the next one, allows you to kind of achieve that goal. So we're working on the journaling feature in a way. There's not a
Nice.
way to, put in specifically like what you wanted or like what you did during the day. But the meditation plan right now is kind of see yourself achieve that goal, whatever that may be in your life. And,
That's cool.
we found that pretty cool. So people like,
That is neat. I like
yeah,
that because yeah, like again, I mentioned like I almost majored in sports psychology as well, or double minor, whatever. I don't remember, but just the benefit of that, of
yeah,
visualizing like what you want to accomplish over and over. And I saw one of our athletic trainers at the time um, was doing it with one of the teams,
yeah,
and we saw the benefit. I mean, I went to Indiana Wesleyan here in Indiana and stuff. And we've had multiple NAI national championships with women and men's basketball, volleyball just won again back to back
wow,
championship with in the NAIA and stuff, and life success and a lot of other sports. Our football's crushing it. Um, it's like incorporating these things, like seeing yourself. I think it builds the confidence in yourself because
100%,
right, practice makes perfect, right? Practice, practice, practice. Physically, actually doing the thing, you get better, right?
for sure.
So we can visualize it over and over and over. We start to feel like what's that feel like when you're doing that, and
Yeah,
you start building that confidence. Like, hey, I've done this, even if it's in my mind. Like I know I can do it. Like I've seen myself do it over and over, and it just builds that pathway, kind of confidence of what you need to do to accomplish it.
well said. Yeah, hit it on the nail.
So, any other big plans for the Ascend app in the coming years?
Yeah, no, we're going to continue to just grow organically for the next couple months, and then we're
Awesome.
going to do a seed round around May, and then really try to get it out to everyone. So
Yeah,
that's the
that's
plan. But
awesome.
yeah, just staying humble, staying grateful, and just excited to keep growing.
That is really cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Again, I think this mindfulness, this type of thing is needed in so many because we see so much,
Yeah,
right? Of especially, we're two men of men just struggling with,
that's real.
depression, mental health issues more and more. And I think it's because we don't know how to deal with the emotions or how to navigate it. And, we live I didn't do this well enough for my family, and I'm trying to get here with my to my family for my family, and like so we're always in both camps,
For real,
uh, and so I think this is for everyone, but men, since we're both males, I think it's going to be needed more and more,
for sure.
and to have that tool out there for people to learn how to control it and to be mindful and be present is going to
Yeah.
make a big difference, which is cool. So. Um, anything else that you want to hit on that we haven't hit on in this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of just tell everyone, my last like kind of piece of advice, just like
Yeah.
go forward. I would just be like, you never know how close you are. It's always dark right before the light. And every day you
Yep.
wake up, just put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Because, oh yeah, like I said, you never know how close you are. So
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Never give up for sure. And everyone has a purpose to be here. So don't give up on
Oh,
yourself either. So
100%.
for
Yes.
sure. Well, Walker, man, it's been great. Where, if people want to, connect with you, find out more about Ascend, where is the best place for them to go to do that?
Yeah, you could email me. It's Walker Ferguson at ascendmeditations.app. And then all of our socials are just ascendapp.ai on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all that good stuff. So, and then
Awesome.
obviously on the App Store, just search up Ascend Meditations, give us a download, try us out. So
Yeah, for
appreciate
sure.
it, buddy.
Yeah, everyone, make sure you get connected with Walker. Check out the app. I love it. It's so personalized. I'm definitely going to be downloading it
Sweet.
after this to check it out. And yeah, again, if you know anyone who's struggling maybe with their mental health, obviously there's professionals out there to help. So get them somewhere they need to go, but they're trying to just improve it on their own. Get into mindfulness, be more present. Share this episode with them. Maybe it can give them some direction and guidance that they can continue to grow and take hold of their mental health and their outlook and their positivity. So, and we can help so many more people together by sharing. So we appreciate that. Again, Walker, thanks so much for being on the Elevate Media podcast today, man.
Appreciate you having me on, Chris. You have a great show.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that. And remember, guys, uh, continue to go out there, elevate your life, elevate your brand, and we'll talk to you again soon.